Hey guys, it's Steve with Ring Steel. We are here continuing in our series to learn how to professionally stipple. So we're practicing. This is the first time we are actually getting our iron out and getting going. Here in front of me I got a piece of black plastic. This is actually a drill case. Any kind of flat plastic will work. I prefer black because it's relatively easy to see your pattern and what you're doing. Stay away from white. When you melt white, white melts clear, so it's very difficult to see your pattern and what you're doing. So first things first, safety glasses, that's always a must. A fan to blow your smoke away. I have a ventilation system set up here that just pulls smoke right off of my work. You can see it here if I zoom out a little bit, just pulls it right off my work. So, got some steel wool handy to wipe off my tip, and a straight edge and a pencil. So the first thing we're going to do, we got our iron plugged in and heating up. It's been plugged in for a minute. It's already hot. So, like I said, the first thing we're going to do is we got our Glock here. This is where we're ultimately ending up, right? This is what we want to get to. So we are going to work on straight lines, because we have a straight line across the top, we have a straight line that comes down here, we have another straight line that could possibly come down the back here. There are straight lines in the front, and also straight lines across the bottom here. So straight lines is a situation that we really want to learn to deal with. And in this particular instance, we are looking at a straight line here of, 4 1/4-ish. So we'll just call it 4.5. And that's what we're practicing on. That's what we're practicing to. So we're going to take our straight edge and we're going to go over. We are going to start, you just want it anywhere on there really, but we're going to start up here about 4.5 inches and we're going to draw a straight line. And then without moving our straight edge, a 1/2 inch scale works really well for this. We're going to go around and we're going to draw a straight line on the other side. And what we should end up with when we're done are 2 parallel lines. So now with our iron warm, that's the tip we're using, just a pointed tip. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start. One thing you may want to have handy is a glove. This holding onto this thing can get a little warm. They say if it gets hot to the touch, you're holding it too tight, but I don't know. I'd rather hold it tight, have control of it, and wear a glove than not. Another thing you might want is, here, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see this. Magnifiers. You're doing little stuff, and I've got great eyes. I've always had great eyes, but just a 1.5 time magnifier makes a world of difference. So now, with our safety glasses on, our iron warm, we are going to turn our fan on. Sorry about the noise. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see a little better what I'm doing. So I am just going to try to draw two, and I'm not going to draw, we're just going to do micro dots. So 2 straight lines. So what we're after, there we can see our line really well, okay? Just want to get in, you just want to dot, okay? And we're just going to continue down that line. And I'm not worried about my angle, all I'm really worried about is making a straight line. And every time you touch it, doesn't matter where you touch it, as soon as you touch it, you get a mark. And you can see here, we're just following right along that line. And we're going to do that the whole length of the line, 4.5 inches. That's what we got to do, right? That's what we got to be able to do on our Glock. So we're just going to keep moving along, and you'll notice a little bit of black buildup on the tip. There's not much on there right now, but you can kind of see it. Whenever you see that, just give her a little wipe with your steel wool. I like to try to kind of get as much support as you can. You're trying to draw a straight line, so you might as well just get as much support as you can. There's no point in just trying to freehand it, because that's when you're gonna mess it up. So there we go, we're just working right along. And now I've gotten to the edge of my box and I'm about to lose my support. So, there's no shame in bringing in some extra support. Just anything to kind of hold your hand up. And you'll notice as you're doing this that the plastic, see, I slipped outside the line there a little bit. I don't know if you can see that one, just the last one I did, just on the wrong side of the line a little. And that's why we practice, so we can avoid things like that. But you'll find that you want the same amount of pressure every time, the same duration in the plastic every time, the same depth every time. Getting into a rhythm really helps. Occasionally you might start to see these little shark teeth sticking up. It helps to wipe your bit off if you start to see that. Get rid of some of these little fuzzies that stick up. Each plastic melts a little different. Each plastic acts a little different. So the more different types you can practice on, the more of a feel you get for it. Because each one's going to be different. Alright, so now I've reached the end of my line. So now I'm going to come back up here. We're going to start over again. I kind of overshot my 4.5 inch, but we'll just kind of start at about the same place. And we're just going to kind of keep working down this line on the other side now too. Remember, trying to keep our rhythm. And if you can help it, you really want to try to keep that tip square over the top, over the line. That way you're going in straight. See, those dots got a little bit bigger. I tipped my soldering gun a little further to the side so you could see. And I'm getting a little bit of an oval shape to my dots. And you'll find as you do this that you can manipulate the shape of your dots based on the angle of attack that you go in there with your soldering iron. Now I'm going to tip my iron up a little further. You can still see pretty well. And keep in mind, guys, when you're trying to do this on your own, you can move this all around, do, you know, whatever you got to do so that you can move in a straight line. It's kind of difficult to do in front of a camera because you guys are looking at it from the angle that I would prefer to be looking at it from. Reach the end of my box again. I'm back on my block. And now you'll notice that there's a significant step, so that's going to change my angle of attack just based on my height. So I got to keep that in mind as I go in here and try to do this and keep doing this. Okay, so now we have two parallel lines. I'm going to set our burner down here. In theory. Now what you want to do is you want to take this thing, you want to tip it up and look down it and kind of see, are your lines parallel? Now that first one I did is not quite as straight as I would like to see it. The second one's a little better. So I would do it again. I would practice it again. There's no harm in doing it again. Do it until you get it right. So there's your first step. This has gotten long enough as it is, so practice that until you're confident that you can draw straight and parallel lines. And stay tuned for the next video. We'll move on, and I will kind of show you the next step in trying to practice this whole thing. Thanks for tuning in.